Public video 103. वाहिगुरु जी होगी घड़ी न देखण दे अपना बिरंग संभाले होगी घड़ी न देखण दे आदत प्रभ सदा सहाय धन मारा मीत धन मारा मीत धन मारा मीत प्रभ से लाग रहो मेरा जीत रहो मेरा जीत रहो मेरा जीत हाथ दे राखे अपने को सास प्रतिपाले सास प्रतिपाले सास प्रतिपाले मंडला सभाए साहब के अचरज देख बधाई अचरज देख बधाई अचरज देख बधाई हर सिमर सिमर आनंद कर नानक पूरन पेश रखाई पूरन पेश रखाई प्रपूर्ण पेज रखाई वाहिगुरु जी. Dear respected God, you do not let your devotees see difficult times. This is your innate nature. From the beginning till the end, you are our helper and companion. Blessed are we. Our consciousness remains attached to God. God has raised us with God's own hands and God's own breath. God's hands have become our hands. God's breath has become our breath. Watching the Lord harmonious in meditation, one is delighted. For the Lord has preserved the Lord's honor. Dear respected God, greetings dear viewers on this hopeful and benevolent Wednesday. Mr. Mohaninder Singh Sodhi, on a day like this, with the Lord's permission and the chosen time and the chosen place, came to be born. It must have been 1940, or perhaps a bit more, though not earlier than 1940. So it is today that the kind gentleman has completed an innings to at least qualify as an octogenarian. 8 decades has the kind gentleman graced us with his presence. Well, as the saying goes, every day is a birthday. Little is known, unfortunately, by the humble nephew of his childhood and early teenage. One will be enlightened to learn of it. Well, there are some graphic accounts to follow, so one will kindly advise the viewers in this regard to bear with caution. As the humble nephew records, in early childhood, there were scenes once of very grievous abuse in the living room of the residence in Assam, where the kind gentleman was present. There were some underage girls who were being abused, and blood was also being drawn. Mr. Mohan Singh Suri was there, and one has moved on from that occasion with a great deal of love, healing, cleansing and acceptance from Vaheguru, from God. On another occasion, when he calls on another holiday in the eastern Indian province again of Assam, one was present. It was a night, and the humble nephew was about a teenager, even less than 15 of age. When asleep at night, there were some very blood-curdling shrieks heard. For quite a while there was thumping and yelling. There were sounds of ammunition going. And Mr. Mohan Singh Suri had conceded and confessed that he had given the deciding shot. It was in connection with a certain movement known as the United Liberation Front of Assam. That was another occasion there. The nephew was threatened and also rather aggrieved by the sight of the cousin Una's knee, which was emaciated, came pleading out into the garden as if though it were the end of the journey of life, where there was a rainbow, and the rain was just beginning to cease while some cobras were dancing their mating dance. They mated, and everyone came out to the garden there in the tea estate. One believes it was called Tengpani. It may be not the correct name referred to, but yeah, we all came out into the garden that day, and the cobras were very nice. They didn't pretty much do much else than be with themselves, at peace with themselves, and that was another one of an occasion. Furthermore, one also comes to the sort of very grievous wife thrashing that Mr. Mohan Singh Suri has upon occasions subject at least the humble nephew to. One were on vacation there, and one heard some very, very grievous instances of macabre violence. One would just be stunned and try to approach the wife, and there was a little corridor there in the residence. Again, one would say it was Tengpani, but pardon one if it is not the right tea estate concerning. There would be a corridor there. There would be some magazines, Sputnik or the similar, and one would just sort of be stricken and dumbfounded and observe that Aunt Bubbles would come there to the corridor, and one would also lead oneself to the corridor, and we would just both stand there, shaken beyond words, beyond action, beyond breath. We would just be standing there and just pausing and letting all the peace of reality filter back in. So yeah, there have been some poignant, some rather marked memories associated by the nephew relating to the kind gentleman, Mr. Mohan Singh Suri. And on a brighter note, he started life as a paratrooper where one might and one has conceded that one is not very grievously aware of his childhood, early childhood and teenage years, but later on we are introduced to himself as a paratrooper. He would board an airplane and parachute out of it. So there was a great deal of courage involved too. He is also a very avid gardener, so he has maintained his hobbies. He likes to raise bonsai, and he has very green fingers, and also a keen sports person who has been very graciously playing golf quite through and through. So yeah, it's all of us. We all have our own our own niches of character. He's also quite a gentleman who appreciates his daily read of the newspaper, and is also one who, to the nephew, has appeared quite well dressed. On all occasions, he is a tidy and well dressed gentleman. Well, thank you, dear viewers, for your kind attention on this fabulous May the 15th of the year 2024. And Mr. Mohanendra Singh Sodhi also narrated to the nephew as to how he got the name Tim. It had to do with a British tea planter, and he was associating with Mr. Mohanendra Singh Sodhi, and the tea planter was introduced to Mohan, and he would call him Mohan, and then the Englishman, the British, said, well, I have a friend called Tim. It's too tongue twisting for me to call you Mohan. So then Mr. Mohanendra Singh Sodhi conceded and said, well then fine, if you have a friend called Tim, why don't you take me as that friend and call me Tim? And it was in the earlier days of tea plantation, and from then on Mr. Mohanendra Singh Sodhi came to us with the alias Uncle Tim, or Tim Sodhi, and we called him Uncle Tim. Well then, it is a pleasure now here to see that this gentleman has weathered the tides of this journey of life, this wonderful journey through the thick and thin that he has. And like anyone, he has his own dichotomy of a pleasant side and an unpleasant side. But at any rate, the earth has gone around the sun for at least 80 times, along with Uncle Tim as a passenger. So a very happy birthday to Mr. Mohanendra Singh Sodhi. माशाल्लाह जी, मोहनिंदर सिंह सोधी जी, आपको इस जन्म दिवस के लिए हार्दिक बधाइयाँ. Thank you, dear viewers, for your viewership. It is all good, for it is a wonderful day, as is in every day. Public video 1 to 3.